Well guys, welcome back to Portugal and welcome to Lagos. Now we're going to be here for about 48 hours. Our campsite is...
rustic.
That's one word for it.
It's okay. To be honest, if you look at the reviews on Park for Night,
It would terrify you?
Yeah, and it's not as bad as that.
No, it's not. So we've got 48 hours in Lagos. It's been very windy, and in fact the spot that we picked last night was actually quite a nice spot, electric and everything, but I was quite worried that the tree right behind the van was going to fall into us after we'd seen something similar happen to another van in Spain. So we've moved to a slightly less salubrious location, if that's possible. But we're going to go out. We're about to do the little hike or the little walk out along the Ponta de
Piedade or Piedad.
It's basically quite famous with all the little sort of beach coves and things like that, all the way out to the lighthouse.
And on round, I think, you actually go round a bit.
There we go. And then after that there, later on, we'll take you into Lagos itself, which has a completely different feel
And
to Albufeira.
Hundreds of shops. I mean, we're talking mucho shopping, which I'm obviously not going to do.
Anyway, let's go hike the
Ponta de Piedade.
Piedade. Well, I have to say, guys, the walk out here is absolutely stunning. See, a lot of it has been closed off, there is actually some of the bays that have been closed off because of erosion since we were here a couple of years ago, last year, a couple of years ago. But it is a stunning walk to do, mostly on boardwalks. We have now come off, the boardwalk is finished and now walking just on the cliffs themselves. But it's a fabulous walk to do. Not quite sure how far it is, but I don't think it's that far. And there's loads of kayak tours on the go as well. Obviously going in and visiting the little grottos as well. It'll be quite a windy day for kayaking, we reckon. But this is rather beautiful. Let me show you. Apologies for the wind noise, we're right in the middle of it.
Wow, there's some views.
There you go.
Yeah, one of the kayaks there coming into one of the bays.
That is absolutely beautiful. Rather nice, isn't it? Oh, where's she away to?
Wow. Wow.
Now the kayakers heading off into the caves, into the grottos. Fabulous. Stunning area.
Well, this is just fabulous. A bit jealous of the kayakers, but because I've still got a shoulder impingement, there's no way I could paddle right now. Yeah. And it's very windy, so I think it'd be quite hard work.
But it's a stunning walk, it's really, really beautiful.
Do not miss out on this.
Yeah. We are very sorry, as I think we said, we are very sorry that we stayed on those extra days in Albufeira. As comfortable as that has been,
this is far, far more interesting.
We love seeing new things. So.
And even though we have walked this before, it's just as good second time.
We didn't really come into all the little coves and stuff though, because we were on a bit of a time limit last time because we only had a couple of hours, but yeah, really worth exploring. And now back across the little gauntlet.
I tell you what though, I was even quite anxious just coming down here, which doesn't...
Well, we saw you doing your flippy hands.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well for any like high hikes we might be doing. I need to get back in that zone. I'm definitely not in that zone.
Yeah.
I mean like gin and tonic and pastel de nata zone.
Not a bad zone to be in. Right, back across. No, we didn't have any flappy hands that time.
Do you have flappers are coming across?
I think so, yeah. I'm not sure I caught it on camera, mind you. It's beautiful.
I don't like these little narrow bits.
There's a little bit. Oh, there she goes. Now we've got to scramble back up here somehow. Here we go. Oh, lordy bee.
Oh.
Look at that, mountain goat.
Hardly.
Drunken mountain goat.
Yeah, I like it. Right, I'm trying to look for the best way in.
Oh dear.
Oh, hang on, this might be a bit less
And
steep
she's
here.
gone. Oh dear. Ambidextrous.
Yeah, I haven't thought this through. Definitely not a commando. I'm in!
There's 5 minutes of my life I'm never getting back. You're nabbing away, aren't you? Nosying away rather than paying attention to you guys. Well, we just thought it's us after all, and it is a Tuesday. Right, Galao and Cafe Pastel de Nata, Pastel de Natas.
The coffee in Portugal.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Amazing.
Couldn't beat it with the big
It's
stick.
always really, really hot. No matter where you go, it's always really hot, which is great.
Right, we're going to enjoy these and then we'll get back on the hoof. Oh, and bonus update, the toilets were actually usable, kind of.
But people stop putting paper down them. That's what blocks them.
Right, good time. We're heading down to one of the little coves. Nicola already twisting her head, saying what else she's missing out on.
I was looking up there, but thinking actually I can't be asked to do that. No. Oh, excuse my language.
Of course, no idea what's down here. And I'm pretty sure there's not an escalator back up again.
I want to go more places like this. This is beautiful.
Yeah, really, really nice.
Makes me want to go to the American national parks. I reckon the rocks would be
I was going to say,
the locks,
because
not
of, all
the
the,
water.
because of all the sea in those national parks.
No, the rocks.
But of course now, fueled by Pastel de Nata, mind you, we're back on the hoof and back
Yeah.
up.
We've not got too far to go though, I don't think,
No.
up top, have we?
No.
We've nearly made it
So
to the
far
end.
out to the end, it was about 2.5 miles.
And
Oh,
we've taken
angry man.
We've taken about 2 hours, and that includes a coffee
Yeah.
and lots of diversions off.
Yeah. Well, are you ready?
Yep.
Let's go. What?
Look at that man's big shell. That's a big conch if ever I saw one. Sorry.
Can take her nowhere, only back to say sorry, folks. Let's go. Go on, keep going, girl. Stairmaster 2000. Almost there.
I think these bits Nigel's shown you here are all the little bits of the grottos they take you around, all the different like caves and the arches and around the rock formations.
Yeah, it's really nice.
No, we have no idea how much it costs because we haven't even looked at it. But to be honest, you get a really good appreciation just from doing the walk, and that's all free.
Exactly. And we can spend all the money that we would have spent on a boat.
On coffee and pastel de
Coffees and
nata.
pastel de natas. Well guys, I think that's us finished on the boardwalk trail now. I think the official finish line is one of these beaches along here. But what a stunning walk, really worthwhile doing.
Yeah, and I think it took us about 2.5 hours with a coffee stop. And it's around 4 miles.
Yeah.
So it's so worth it.
Worth it, absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
And now about a 2.5 mile walk back to the van, with this one probably complaining that she wants bread.
And we've just been talking about how good an Indian smelled when we were walking around last night. So now all I can think about is getting an Indian. And it's not even the weekend.
When's that ever stop us, guys?
That's very true.
Right, we'll catch up later on today. Well guys, yes, Nigel's on cooking duty tonight because Nicola is working as usual. and making very grumpy faces. A go-to recipe that we quite often will cook in the van is salmon with a marinade of sweet chili sauce, lime juice and ginger. And that's exactly what we're going to do this evening. I think this is actually one of Nicola's recipes that I'm stealing. Rather nice big bits of salmon from the Lidl. And yeah, unfortunately.
Oh look, my hair's doing its thing.
Well, good evening guys. So the wind is still blowing, as you can tell by someone's hair. And we're going to head down into Lagos and have a little bit of a wander around. I think someone's going to go and...
I might do a couple of shops, although I've earmarked a couple of hours tomorrow for the shops.
We just have a bit of a wander around. It's actually quite, I'm surprised I'm in a long sleeve top.
Yeah,
it's actually quite chilly.
Cool.
So, and then tomorrow we're going to go and explore one or two of the beaches along here as well. But for now, let's have a little bit of a wander around Lagos and try to avoid getting into too many shops.
Need to get out of the wind.
I know. Need a haircut. Oh, by the way, as of Albufeira's video, yeah, she did go home and chop at her hair for about four times. 4 times.
Oh,
yeah.
5 times maybe.
Yeah.
Quite a few times.
Don't ever change, love. Don't ever change. So guys, we have lost Nicola to the allure of the shops. You know it by now. Bread's more important than vlogging, yogurt's more important than vlogging, gin might even be more important than vlogging, and certainly shopping's more important than vlogging. So you're just gonna have to put up with me as I wander some of the little back streets of Lagos. Better than that, I was shopping malarkey. Now, as far as I can remember, there are some fantastic murals on some of the walls around Lagos. Maybe we should go and try to see whether we can find those. I think I've actually brought us up into the more residential area, so we'll take a wander back down again and see whether we can find some of those really beautiful murals or murals.
Before the sun goes down, it's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing that's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love.
Well guys, good morning again, and apologies that last night was a little bit cut short. This one here didn't turn up till after 8 o'clock, and by that point we were both like, should we just wander back to the van, which is what we did. But this morning the wind has died down and the sun is out, and so we are heading down to the beach.
And we've already been for a run.
We have been for a run. Get us fitness kings and queens. But yeah,
You wouldn't have thought that if you'd seen me struggling up the hill.
true that. But yeah, we're going to head down to the beach, do a little bit of, I might visit one or two of the beaches, and probably even going to go for a dip. And you can see behind us actually the hustle and bustle of the 11 a.m. van shuffle as everyone kind of gets themselves ready to head out, ship in. Both nights that we've stayed, we've been staying here, this will be our 3rd night tonight. Both nights we've stayed here by about 5 o'clock. I would say there's very few spaces. Down in these 2 levels, there are more defined spaces. Up top, which actually says only for tents, I think it's just squeeze in where you can.
But it's quite a nice little community feel up there actually. And do you know what, don't be put off by the reviews.
Do not.
The
Probably,
toilets and that have been clean.
probably best shower I've had on this trip. I kid you not, it wasn't a push on, it was a turn on, leave on, lovely and hot. And as I say, yes, there's a few bits and pieces missing, like toilet seats, and I think we're actually missing a sink in our toilet, but really, really clean and really, really quiet overnight as well.
It's really not as bad as the reviews make
Absolutely
it
not.
sound.
Right, let's hit the beach I'm hungry.
I'm starving.
Let's hit the restaurant.
And when I feel the wind on my face.
Now, one of the other really cool things about the campsite is its location. And we, to this beach that we're going to be going to, we're only about a 5-minute really slow walk down into the beach. About another 5 minutes on into the old town. So from a location point of view as well, you could not beat it. Now, don't get confused, because up behind me here, there seemingly is another campsite with caravans and I think some motorhomes in it. But it is actually where the National Police, I think, bunker down, which is why it doesn't appear on Park for Night. But as I say, 5-minute walk from our campsite, and this is us just about to head down the stairs onto the first little beach. And I'm going to assume that this little beach bar will be in our very near future as well. But yeah.
I was already going, whoa, in case you didn't hit that.
Here we are at the first beach. And as you can see, rather nice. And actually now that the wind has died down, it's slightly busier than it was yesterday evening. It was empty yesterday actually. I think, not sure you'll be able to see it, but just down here there seems to be a little tunnel through that you can get through. I'm not sure whether you can get around to the other beaches. I think a couple of friends we have met on the Albufeira campsite actually, they're really into their snorkeling, and I think they've gone on to the other beach, but we'll take a wander down here anyway, because I know Nicola's just gagging to get in that little tunnel.
I am. I can actually see light at the other side, so you can definitely walk through a bit of it.
Yeah, don't
through the tunnel.
Don't walk towards the light. Oof, game over. Yeah, one of the things to be aware of in Lagos here, all of the beaches are up and down a reasonable set of stairs. But yeah, let's go beach it up.
In the tomorrow, there's no time to borrow today.
Oh, that's a lot of stuff. A lot of sludge about, a lot of seaweed. I'm not sure what the chemicals that the seaweed gives off, but it's like an ammonia smell.
Yeah,
It's kind of
what that was.
catching the back of my throat actually. And then you won't be able to see it on the GoPro, but on the other side of the marina is the really long stretch of sandy beach. Yeah, I'm not sure how many of these little tunnels we can get through to the other beaches, but yeah, that seaweed is definitely giving off an ammonia type smell that really is catching the back of the throat. So something to be aware. You can actually hear it. You've something to be aware of if you're coming here and this is being brought in. Maybe it's been brought in the last couple of days because of all of the wind. Right, I think we're going to turn on our heels and go back through the other tunnels. Keep Tunnel Girl happy.
I forgot to bring my hat.
And your
Not my hat.
And your Bafana?
My Bafana, but I can get a Bafana up there.
Sweet. In fact, right up there. Back through the tunnels we go. And Nicola tripping up as usual. We could probably just put together a highlight reel of Nicola's trips and falls.
To see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a wreck.
Well guys, that is us back from the beach, and that's the first time on this trip, first time in a while that we've had a full-on beach day. And a huge shout out to Marshall and Sherry for the loan of their full face mask, snorkel masks.
Which are a huge improvement on what we've had in the past, you know, the tubey things and the glasses, which I don't always get on very well with.
Sausages! No, really, really good. And then afterwards we went for a little drink in the bar overlooking the beach, which was quite nice as well.
By the way, that is the sausage dog, in case you're wondering why we're shouting sausage, if you haven't seen our other vlogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough actually, because when we leave here tomorrow, that's going to be the end of the sort of social time we've had, because we've met some really lovely friends the last couple of weeks, Paul and Karen at Albufeira, and we did actually meet Marshall and Sherry there, but they happened to be coming to Lagos as well. So we've had the company of them for an extra couple of days, which has been brilliant. Yes. So we're going to miss you guys. And actually, one thing we learned when we met the guys in Albufeira, apparently it's not a good idea to hang a flamingo in your window. See if you can find out why.
And so yeah, this one here is off to do a bit of shopping, even though you did pick up something last night.
I bought myself a new eye mask because mine is stretched and won't stay on properly. Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Why do people need eye masks? Surely whenever you shut your eyes, it's dark.
Obviously my eyelids aren't thick enough. There's always noise.
Always noise. Right guys, well this one's here is off the shop. I'm off to chill out at the van, and we'll maybe pick it up later on this evening whenever we might actually see her down in Lagos. Because that's why she's off to do her shopping now, so she might actually appear in the vlog tonight. But now off we go to our lovely salubrious camping. And as we said earlier, don't trust the reviews. If you're coming to Lagos, don't be put off by the reviews of this campsite. We've loved it. And look, you even get a little bar cafe outside. Maybe that's where I'll secretly hide out whenever Nicola's out shopping. Yeah, there you go. Camping Albufeira.
Albufeira, no?
Nope, Camping Lagos.
It's not even called that.
And yes, you've
Trinidadi or something.
Camping Lagos. And you've got a little cafe place here. And then on this side, you've also got Tony's Bar, which
wasn't open last night.
Seems to be open infrequently between the hours of 3 and 11. I really liked it here, and in fact we have already said that if we happen to be back on the south coast of Portugal again, maybe a house sit, we probably wouldn't go back to Albufeira. As nice as the campsite is at Albufeira, it's a long way away from a lot of the sort of areas, and of course the town itself is maybe a little bit too party-ish for this one.
And too mobbed.
Yeah, whereas here, you're 5 minutes away from beautiful beaches, 8 minutes away from the old town, a lot more chilled out
and
vibe.
It seems to be a bit more spread out, so it doesn't seem to be ran the whole time.
Really nice.
It's a nicer feeling.
Anyway, I shall leave you in this little segment as we walk back to our van. As what I said earlier, up here you have a little bit more of a designated spaces, but then where we are, it's a little bit more of a free-for-all. That's actually where we had parked initially when we thought this tree was going to fall on our van.
I was confident we'd be fine.
Tents go in here apparently, as is up here where we are, but motorhome seems to have commandeered the place. Actually, it's not as busy as it was this morning, but yeah, so you can see that everyone is just kind of higgledy-piggledy up here. And in fact, if Marshall's watching this later on,
You can go and
there he is. Right, catch up later. Well guys, good morning. And this is certainly not how I was expecting to close out this week's vlog. So after we had a fantastic day in Faro, Nicola really enjoyed her snorkeling. She went down, and then there was a huge big army exhibition on, so she got to fire guns and drive tanks and all kinds of malarkey, so she came back a very happy bunny. A couple we had met in, actually the guys who loaned us the snorkels. We actually went there for a couple of drinks with those guys, and the plan was yesterday to take the van into Faro to go to a garage. Now the reason behind that was, I think we mentioned a couple of weeks ago that we'd started to hear a bit of a rattle. Well, when we were on the campsite in Albufeira, Aussie, a mechanic came along and he diagnosed the problem. One of our rear springs had actually broken. A little bit of it had kind of came off, as you can see here in my hand. So we took it into the VW garage in Faro to get it diagnosed, and we didn't expect him to be able to fix it yesterday because of course you need to order the part in probably. If only springs were only our problem. So basically we hung around, no information whatsoever. And every time we seemed to look at the van, there didn't seem to be anyone working on it. And after we got the van into them about 10:30. And at about 4:30, I said, look guys, what's going on? They weren't, it was very difficult to get information out of them, let's just say that. And some guy came up with a clipboard, shaking his head. And he basically still had the van up on the ramp, and he showed me in below it. Now, as you probably know if you've been a long time viewer on this channel, we used to live in Portrush. And for a couple of years, the van did sit very close, about 150 metres from the sea. And let's just say that we've been very bad at looking after it, very bad. And the amount of corrosion that's actually being discovered below the van is quite worrying. Now, I spoke to our mechanic back in Ireland and basically explained the situation. And of course, we put the van through the MOT back in November, and there was no advisories, nothing like that. And his comment was, well, they're probably being over-egging it because down here in Portugal, they don't see that kind of corrosion. But of course, they refused to just do the spring. And so they said, look, no. So we had a couple of choices, 3 choices. One, drive north to Bilbao, which is about a 12-hour drive, and get the ferry back to Rosslare, go back to Ireland and get our mechanic back in Ireland to take a look and fix it. Choice 2, drive it away from the VW garage here and go to an independent and see whether they would just fix the spring for us. Or point 3, accept the fact that the VW garage is probably going to overcharge us a little bit and get them to actually fix it. So I came out and explained all of this to Nicola, and of course I'm purposely not including Nicola on the, we don't want to dramatise this beyond. We've had a pretty sleepless night considering what to do. Getting eaten alive here by something, maybe move away from the hedge. Pretty sleepless night deciding what to do, back and forward. And so we've actually gone for option 3, and that is to get the VW garage here in Faro to fix the issue, which let's just say is not cheap at all. We're definitely talking 4 figures, and quite a bit of 4 figures as well. Now the other fly in the ointment is, it's going to be 10 working days for the parts to come in. They also have 2 labour days between that now and then. So it's actually going to be, from the time of recording, we're not going to be able to leave the van in for another 18 days. Which means we're kind of a bit stuck. Now the van is still drivable, but we obviously don't want to drive long distances. So we're going to have to make a bit of a plan for what we're going to do in this area. Obviously not staying in Faro. We're back at the little camper stop that we stayed on before the house sit. Obviously under much different circumstances, because we had a wonderful time here, lovely thing, and then we were off to the house sit. We did actually check to see whether the guys at the house sit were heading off on an impromptu trip in case we could go and hunker down there for a couple of weeks. And then obviously they're going to need the van for probably 2, maybe 3 days, so we also have to look for a hotel as well. So it's, yeah, as I say, not how I expected to be closing off our little vlog from Faro. We did know that we had an issue. We just didn't know it was such an issue. And I think if we had been closer in northern Spain somewhere, I think I would have got the boat back and gone back to Ireland and got Alex to take a look at it and give us a proper diagnosis. But we just thought, you know what, if we drive all that way now, what if we have another issue driving in only 1 spring? You can already see it's starting to have a bit of an impact on the tyre wear a little bit. 2, it would cost us probably to get out and back so we can carry on with our trip. It would probably cost us about 1,800 quid anyway, plus then the repairs to get done back in Ireland. And 3, our concern would be that we'd get all the way back to Ireland, we'd get the van fixed, and then would we just shrug our shoulders and say, let's just stay in Ireland now and do the West Coast or something? And we really don't want to sort of admit the defeat from that perspective. So that's it really. No dramas, in terms of no YouTube dramas, just the reality of the situation. I say we didn't want to include Nicola on the, no point in kind of having that extra pressure. But so we're hoping today We've found a couple of camper stops in and around the area, both cheapish and also paid for, and we're hopefully just going to make the most of a bit of a crappy situation, which is what it is, especially after last year's financial impact. And to be honest, we can kind of get our heads around the financial impact. Don't get me wrong, it's a large sum of money and it's a large sum of our travel budget. But now it's just the fact that we've got to wait for, as I say, 18 days until the van gets in, probably 20, 21 days until we get it fixed. And we just really want to get to that point now where it's been fixed, there's been no extra issues, and we can drive off the forecourt and carry on our trip, albeit a couple of weeks later, getting into the Dolomites, but hopefully with the van fixed. So anyway, guys, bit of a reality check living on the road, and it certainly knocks my confidence to the point where, you know, I do question this life. But at the same time, you know, you go back home again and, you know, boilers blow up and all kinds of other manner of stuff happens. So anyway, it is what it is. I'm off into ramble mode now, so I'll spare you any more rambling. I'm going to head back to the van, grab a coffee, do a little bit of work, and then hopefully the camper van stop that we have requested a spot at has space, and we'll maybe see what we can do over the next couple of weeks to make the most, as I say, make the best of a pretty crappy situation. Right, guys, once again, thanks a lot for following along, and until next time, from a very rusty, corroded van, take care, bye-bye.